So Don, what was your inspiration for this obelisk?
Well, it was storytelling. I'm known as a artist that does installations, and I'm always telling stories with my paintings. So that's very important to me. And I was given the idea of democracy to do, which took a lot of research to figure out how much democracy really was in St. Augustine. So that was a challenge, but I did pull quite a few stories, and that was my inspiration to do this piece, was to be a storyteller with pictures and words. I'm probably one of the few people that are going to have words on the actual monument to help people understand what these visuals are. So that was the fun part for me. And because of my background as a graphic designer, this was a good marriage for me. So that's where it started.
So you've been painting for a while, huh?
Only the last 15 years. I was a graphic designer for 50 years.
Oh, wow.
Working in my own studios in Atlanta and Cleveland, and was quite a large staff. And so I'm used to working with ideas that have words. For instance, that horrible word, commercial art.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
So I'm still a graphic designer with a different audience.
Okay. All right.
So basically that's what my inspiration is, the story every time. I just completed a show downtown last week where it was all about frogs. And why do I do a show about frogs? To make people aware of the pandemic in the world against amphibians. So I'm a storyteller with pictures.
All right. Well, thank you, Don. That was very nice of you.
Thank you.
And I thank you.
All right.
This is FirstCoast.tv. We find ourselves here with Heather and with Javi, and they're working on one of the obelisks, of the many obelisks that will be displayed through the city for the 450th. So we're here looking at the bottom or the base of the obelisk, because I know your ceiling isn't high enough to stand it up. It's about 8 feet tall. Heather, what was the inspiration for this piece of work?
Our location happens to be the fort, which is a pretty significant part of St. Augustine. The fort was used in the military for about 251 years in all, and there was a lot of suffering that incurred at the site, being a military outpost. And so basically we wanted to memorialize that suffering, showcasing the humans that actually lost their lives there, and not try to take away anything from that suffering, memorialize it and make it into a monument that's reaching towards enlightenment. The 4 pillars of the Compassion Project are compassion, freedom, human rights, and democracy. And we're going to be putting that up the sides, and it's basically from suffering through the 4 pillars up to enlightenment and awareness through the compassion, compassion incentive.
All right. And Javi, you want to add something to that?
Honestly, no.
No?
I mean, she really described it perfectly. You know.
What kind of, is that plaster?
It's a mixed media. It's a combination of definitely different materials, but it is not plaster. It's a material that is really not out in the market. We were lucky enough to acquire a large amount of it, but at the moment it's under litigations. But it's a product that's honestly like a miracle. It's been a lot of fun to work with it, and it's just fireproof. It's waterproof. It's just about everything you can imagine. It glues to each other. I mean, it's just, and we've just covered some objects that we've purchased with this material, and then we've just adapted it to it. The amount of time and money that we've had was great, but yet not enough to do everything from scratch. It would have been, just practically impossible.
Amazing. A future material. A material of the future. All right.
The future, indeed.
Okay. Well, I want to thank both of you sharing that minute or two, explaining a little bit of this. Eventually we'll see them all. Every place I go, all of them have been amazing. And yours have not stopped from being amazing. Yeah. Thank you. So we find ourselves here with
Wendy Mandel McDaniel.
Okay. All right, Wendy. And
a good start now.
Yes, that's a good start. And
remember my name. This is a good thing.
And once again, you're your obelisk, like many of the obelisks, are amazing. I keep my jaw keeps dropping every time I go into someone's studio. And my question to you is just one. What was your inspiration for your obelisk?
Well, I took it kind of very literally. You know, I kind of, I mean, for me, I got involved because of the compassion part of the whole project, and initially it was really just going to focus on compassion, but you know, you think of democracy and freedom, and you know, it's all so involved and integrated that they all kind of came out. And then I really wanted to focus on the history of St. Augustine, you know, kind of put it in context of St. Augustine, where we are. And so it's a combination of all of that. There's elements, it's very organic, there's elements of, like I said, of all of that. There's a compassion rose that flows throughout. I mean, kindness is the key to having a better planet. There's nature elements, which again is key to a healthy planet. And you know, it deals with forgiveness. We have a lot of history, and not all of it was good, obviously.
Sure, of course.
So there is that element of it in it as well. But I try to focus on the forgiveness quality of that. Okay. You know, that we've got to embrace our past and try to have it never, you know, repeat itself.
Right.
And
just repeat the good thing.
Exactly. Because in fact, there's a quote, Martin Luther King quote here, which is like one of my favorites that deals with that. And yeah, so it's kind of an organic.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for sharing that with us. And yeah, we're visiting all the obelisks, as many as we can, not all of them. And I'm putting a little collage of stories on our FirstCoast.tv, because this is only going to happen one time, at least in my lifetime. And I think we need to see some of it and talk to you guys. All right?
Thanks, Jorge.
Okay, thank you.
How was that?
That was it.